this is really this is a start for women's bodybuilding season, the Triple O. This year is not so great. I mean, losing some shows, didn't get a show back, and just a lot of changes are going on. If you know, they announced that the Triple O, not Triple O, sorry, the Rising Phoenix is going back to an invitational. So if you're a competitor, especially again, ladies, Rising Phoenix, not Arizona Pro. If you're not women's bodybuilding, you're doing the Arizona Pro. If you're women's bodybuilding, this is the Rising Phoenix. This is exclusively the show for women's bodybuilding. As you know, it was established because of Jake. Every time I say Jake, yo, Jake, I want that money. I want that gun. And if you have not put in the invitation, I think the invitation's in, I think around about May, end of June, end of April, and start announcing the invitees on May. So if you go to the Rising Phoenix, if you are women's bodybuilding exclusively, put in your paper, put in your crest, or whatever you have to do, we can surely, ladies, turn up and show up. And it's still technically a qualification for the Olympia, but as long as you have Andrea in the title and whoever is the top 3 competitors, it's gonna be tight. So anyway, so Eunice is one of the sponsors of the Triple O Dynasty, and she's done the show before. I remember she was there when they first started the show, and for me, I was so excited for her because her whipping elbows with Andrea, Sid, and also at the time was Whitney Jones, but now Whitney's not part of it. Do you know anything? Why? What's going on?
Well, it looks like she started her own natural show. It's the Whitney Jones Natural Classic or something, and that's I'm not sure if it's in May, but I saw that advertised, so I figured that's what she was going to do. Is she removed herself from this show to be able to be the promoter of a new it's NPC Natural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I saw she posted where there, if you win overall, she will pay for your entry fee to a national show.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good because I've said that but I think I don't know if it's just not just that show, but some other shows too that she's doing that because that's one natural show, and I think a couple other shows are regularly enhanced competitors. Might as well say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So with this, what's your feeling now? You're just about another 3 or 4 days from flying to Arizona.
Yeah, quite excited. This is the 3rd year that Triple O Dynasty will offer women's bodybuilding and the women's figure, and we've been part of it since the very beginning. And so this is one of the shows that we definitely always mark as wanting to help be a sponsor of, because it's put on by 2 women, and the whole show is for women. Of course, NPC is for men, but just how they came about without when women's bodybuilding and figure got bumped out of the Arnold, they decided to have their own, and that's when we decided that we would be a part of this show as long as they continue to have it. So it's an honor for us to be there, and this year we get to be trophy sponsors, so that's even more exciting.
Yeah, that's great. And also if you follow the Triple O, I'm gonna pull up this. They are now offering, this is pretty big, for both divisions, $10,000. That is some wampa. That's a lot of, I think for especially competitors, for first place, it's $10,000. Now that's a good chunk of change. You think about it.
Yeah, this is probably the second highest, because the number one is the Olympia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for a good while it used to be.
It used to be the Rising Phoenix too.
Yeah, Rising Phoenix. Yeah, it was like the number one. It was like more like it tied with the Olympia because the fact is, she still gets $50,000, and with either show. Yeah, but yeah, I think also it was, I believe the Steve Carr show. I think their prize money was $10,000 or something. I'm trying to remember.
I don't think the Steve Carr show was as high as this.
I was trying to think. I think it might not be, but I felt like it was another show that was had a big payday. I think it was like Pittsburgh they have for women's physique, but they don't have women's bodybuilding.
Right.
And here's this one here. This is the ladies talking, and I'll pull this. This is from a little thing they
Oh,
did.
lovely people. You know me, I'm on the road again. Let me get Andrea and Marilyn on here. Let's see who I can add. I don't even know. Oh, I got it. Hold, please. I'm going to do this safely. Let's get them on the phone.
We have here Sid Gillen, and she's trying to get her partners on the phone.
All right. So they're on here. Hi, guys.
Greetings.
Hi. You see me multitasking, girl? I'm on the road.
Hey. But what else is new?
you know. Marilyn should be answering soon.
Okay. Gonna bring the camera a little closer so I can see some of these comments. Hello, people. Hello.
And so, Dre, did you write that we got the questions ready that y'all sent over?
We do, and I have them pulled up on my iPad. So
perfect. I was like, I can't read them at the same time.
She is on the move. Okay, so we'll give Miss Marilyn a few minutes. You guys, if you have a few more questions, we may take a couple more in the comments, but we tried to give you guys enough time so that we could prepare for the answers. But we'll try. We'll do what we can. Hello, Miss from Mr. from India, Mr. or Mrs. from India.
Well, while we're waiting on her, Dre, we can go ahead and get started on some of the questions so we can go, get this thing rolling.
Fantastic. Okay, great. So question number 1. Will it be a good idea to create premium events for the betterment of pro-female bodybuilding? That is a very open-ended question. So when you say premium events, I mean, whoever submitted this question, we would be open for a discussion about it, but like what would be inclusive of a premium event for you? So we would love to see, what your thoughts are on what you consider premium events. Like, what does that entail? And then we could be, potentially open to discussing that. So whoever you are, if you have the live going right now, I would say submit some more details in our DM, and then we can converse with you about some of those ideas for premium events. Question number 2.
But as of right now, it is the premium event.
Right. I was gonna say,
nice little beautiful. I was like, when I read it, I was like, this is it.
Considering we're kicking off the season, this is
correct.
This is definitely premium, and these ladies have prize money that outside of the Olympia and potentially the Rising Phoenix, it's there for a reason. So Sydney and I have been very diligent about making sure that all athletes, be it NPC and pros, feel like they are a part of like an Olympia-like experience. So
that's right.
Okay, so what time does everything start?
Hold on, Marilyn's here. Marilyn, click the invite. Let me see what it does.
Good to see you. Thanks for supporting Mutant Supplements. Oh, absolutely. Oh, thank you. Okay, cool. We'd like to know what flavor you brought. Thanks for the love.
It said she was here. Invite again.
How is it? Y'all vibes are always so immaculate. Oh, because we care. That's how our vibes are always so immaculate. We actually care, As athletes and show promoters, we care.
Wait, Marilyn, turn your volume up because I can't hear you.
Marilyn?
Yep, I'm here.
It's so low. Can you hear it better, Jess?
Yeah, we need you to turn the volume up, Marilyn.
Okay, it's re-going.
Okay. While she's doing that. Not really.
It's still low.
Yeah, it sounds really, really low.
I think some problem with her phone. It might be an issue. She needs to use a mic.
Thank you, Female Bodybuilding Forum, for supporting the show. We appreciate you. And for supporting the division as a whole for bodybuilding.
That's where I went down.
I saw you in Las Vegas, so thank you.
She got David in her mouth.
It's almost like a whisper.
It is.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're at a whisper.
Anyway, this is a very long session they have.
Oh, thank you.
But these ladies, as you know, the lady talking, Marilyn is the owner of sun rays, a liquid sun rays, which is the one of the promoters for the show. That's pretty good that she's jumping on. Also, if you're going to watch the show, it's going to be the 4th, and they have on here some codes. So let's show them who has the biggest fans. So when you purchase the live stream, you can use these codes. Now, if you just want to look at figure, it's code pro figure. You want to look at women's bodybuilding, it's code pro WB. And you want to look at all the divisions, it's pro show, meaning you get 10% off. So that's like about, a good, I think about what's 10%. It's about 45. It's like about, I think about $15 off the cost of the live stream. So I would suggest anybody who wants to watch this show, buy the live stream. It helps give the promoters some money, also bring attention, and maybe get more people on board. We got some people in the live here. Shout out to man Josh. He says, happy fun day Sunday. Also, happy peak week. Thank you, brother. We got here my man KL the Wonder says, what's going on? Not much, brother. What about you? Also, he says, why she ain't give you shout out? Man, she don't have to do anything. I'm not gonna complain about that. He always shit starting stuff. He's laughing at me. At least, hey, at least I got this. I take this. I'll take this. Thank you, Eunice. I'll take this. But also we have is Nodos. He's here. He says, hello to everyone, but very special hello to Andrea Shaw. Yes, and also my man Shaw here says, will Triple be bigger as the Super Bowl? We all know it's not. That's the thing is, but if we get more people to pay attention, to watch it, to buy the pay-per-views, to go to the shows, what it does is he's like Unicy's League was Sid, Andrea, their trainer, the producer, and Linda Murray. We're talking about how the promoters, it's a business for them. And I know sometimes with me, I get my feelings when I see stuff like what Tim Gardner did and what other promoters do. But that's the thing is, these men are a business. And you just said the fact about business that sometimes it's about making money. It's not so much about feelings.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how you're going to stay in business. Is you gotta be professional, and you got to think what the intent is, and you got an overhead. So everybody has an overhead, and our promoters, we have no idea what these venues are costing them. They have to book them a year in advance, and I'm sure they're having to pay a percentage of that, the down payment for reserving, that venue. So we don't know, what their contracts involve, and they're really, doing this out of faith because they feel like the fans will be there. So the fans need to show up in order for them to continue this. And we all think that they're making lots and lots of money, but some of them are just coming, pretty close to even. And because they really love the sport of bodybuilding. Mm-hmm. I know I've had conversations with Tim Gardner, and he really loves the sport of bodybuilding. He hung in there for so many years, and at some point in time, the athletes need to take care of themselves. So this was the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because last year wasn't a lot of numbers. Shows like the Rising Phoenix, there was only 5 ladies. Shows like Atlanta was 3. I think the most was like shows like Steve Carr, and also Tampa had a good amount of numbers. Not that many at Toronto. And then New York was the biggest hit because there's only 3 competitors. And that's why, Steve Weinberger, he did what he did because, he's been in the game for quite a long time. I just watched that video with his ex-wife, Bev Francis, great lady, amazing. I'm a big fan of hers since back in the day. And maybe just because people like myself who are fans of this division, we feel like anytime we see a promoter kind of cut it at the knees, it's a slap in the face to those competitors. But the ladies are doing right now, they got together and they have a forum. It's a Women Bodybuilding Forum. You can go over there if you want to support it. And we need you ladies also to be more active. We have here some comments here. Shout out to our man KL. He says, Hello, Eunice. He says hello to you.
Hey, Kale.
Also, saw a man, Jeff. He says, hey, Eunice, George, and happy Easter. Happy Easter to you.
Happy
And also,
Easter.
KL, he says, like, so what? It's just a magazine. You know what? You know what? I'm going to show this why it's just not a magazine. I love you haters because you fuel my energy. The champ told me she loves me and thanks me. She loves me. My baby loves me. My baby loves me. So what do you get, KL the Wonder? What do you get? Hater. I love your hate. I need it. It's fuel. I use it. Shout out here. To my man, Jeff says, I was surprised about the cost of the live stream. Well, all you gotta do, brother, is there is a code. There's three codes. One is Pro Figure, one is Pro WB, and one is Pro Show. You use that code when you want to go in. It should knock off a few bucks. You know, I know time is tight. Things are going on. Price of gas. Oh my God! Lucky I don't own a car. I'm thank God I don't own a car because I'll be out there. I'll be pimping myself to get some gas. Shout out here to my man KL the Wanderer. He says, I might check out the show. Great, we appreciate that. It helps the show. We have here someone sitting in the wings. This is my man, Josh he's been here. Hey, Josh.
Hey, how's it going? Happy Sunday Fun Day. Happy peak week.
Hey,
it's been a busy day. It's been a busy week for our bodybuilding. We got the Samson Showdown. Shout out to you and Cedric for winning the wellness division over there. And shout out to Michelle Mensa and Rand Fragar. Man, they on fire. How you guys doing?
We're doing fine. We appreciate you coming through, brother. As you know, with this Triple O, is like I said, it's the start for women's bodybuilding season. It's it was a couple years ago they had women's physique, but they don't have that anymore. Really, women's physique really won't start for the Olympic qualification till May, and that's New York Pro. But they do have a couple of shows, and also women's bodybuilding have some shows too. They're going to be at Portugal. That's going to be in a couple of about a few weeks, and no, Puerto Rico, and also they're going to have a show in Washington State, which is the Emerald Cup. No, it's Washington State, for one of those two. So, a big question is, who's going to be at the show? And,
that's a good question.
And the list won't be confirmed till tomorrow evening because they usually don't drop it till like about after 6 or 7 o'clock. Because everybody has to sign in their registration. But we have some names that have confirmed they're doing this show. Some ladies that we hadn't seen in quite some time. Some are returning. There were some possible theories of who was going to compete, but generally we have a good number of names that are coming here. Now, first off, the person that she is most definitely, she mentioned she's going to be competing in the show, is last year's champion, Salika Gevin. And Salika, I would say she has a amazing physique, good muscle, but I think one thing is with her is her conditioning, her size. She has full muscle, but I think
she has that 3D effect too. So all she needs is that conditioning. She'd be all set.
Yeah, she did like 3 shows counting the Triple O last year. Then she did the Masters Olympia, which took second to Tiana Flex, and then she was, I think, 11th or 12th at the Olympia. So I know Eunice, you had some exchange with Salika before. What's your thoughts on her?
Oh, she's I love her posing because she gets into the posing spiritually, and she just moves from within. So her posing is just always beautiful to watch. She's an amazing person, so she's very supportive of women's bodybuilding. She's been real active in the group chat. She's a great example, great ambassador for the sport. Just like you said, she's got the muscularity. She's just going to have to bring in the conditioning because it's quite a lineup. There's girls that are going to show up with good conditioning. So This is going to be an exciting show.
Yeah, here she is. She's doing some training. She got on the triple O jacket, and it's a nice jacket, but not as nice as the bad rap jacket. It's really beautiful pink little thing that Eunice and JoJo made, and as you know, quite a few ladies have worn it, counting Salika, counting Erica
Lavena.
Morgan, who won. Who else? Lavenia Barros.
Yeah,
Yep.
Lavena Arrows.
Yeah, I think
Gosh,
some
Man,
we've given so many that we just forgot.
exactly. Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, but we call it the jacket of champions.
Yeah, it's like the green jacket of golf, but yeah, bodybuilding.
Yeah. Also, one lady who I've been talking with a good bit. I wasn't sure if she was going to compete because a couple years ago she went through some issues, accident, had some surgery, and that is Andrea Sauer. So Andrea Sauer, um, and she's making her return. We were talking. She was really happy that they're trying to have more shows on the West Coast because at one point you did have the Grand Prix, Thai Grand Prix, but that's gone. And then the Rising Phoenix was open last year, but now it's back to invitation. And she even competed for quite some time. Last time she competed was 2023. That was New York Pro, and
Yeah.
she looks really good. I mean, we've been talking. She feel like she's ready. After recovering from an accident, her surgery. She really wants to get a show out the first of the year. She might do this show. She's most definitely doing this show because she's pronounced it. And maybe we might see her do Steve Carr, or she put an invitation for the Rising Phoenix.
Oh yeah, she's definitely ready. She put in the work. She posts daily. That's what I like to see.
Mhm. Yeah. What you think of Andrea Udis?
Well, I'm not real familiar with her. It's been a while since I've seen her. Um, I think I've only seen her on IG. I've never really seen her compete at a show. Um, she comes in quite conditioned. The last post she made that I saw earlier this week, I mean, she had the striations on her chest, and those are hard to get. So she's definitely going to bring in the conditioning.
Hmm. That's very important that just not just size but conditioning, and she's really big about bodybuilding, and she supports it. She's also a coach and trainer. I interviewed her some time ago. We still try to keep in contact. She often sends me stuff and let me know some stuff that's going on, and she is now making a return. It's been, like I said, it's just about 3 years since she last competed. She did the Vancouver Pro, and she did New York, and then she could step back for a minute. And she's hoping to do some shows out west, but with the Triple O, this will be the first show to get out of the way, and maybe she might do Steve Carr or also the Rising Phoenix to put an invitation.
Now,
Now,
is she also a Masters competitor?
well, I doubt. I don't know. She
I mean, she could be.
she could be, but she hadn't competed Masters. She is over 40.
Okay, so I
She
didn't
could,
know
she
if
could,
she was going to cross over to Masters, to try to qualify for Masters Olympia.
yeah,
That'd be good.
that'd be a good idea. I know some ladies are kind of hesitant about doing it because you have to pay to play in Masters,
Oh
but
True.
yeah.
yeah, but you know what? Olympic qualification, for Masters Olympic qualification, get your Olympic qualification. You just have to win in your division. Now, next up is a lady who I follow, and she kind of last week made the announcement she was coming back. She competed at the Triple O last year, and after that, she only did Triple O and she did Masters Olympia. There was talk about her. I remember she did an interview with man Glenn, shout out to Glenn from the Amazon Fitness magazine. He did an interview with her. She said she was going to New York, but then she didn't do New York. That's Mela Ash. Mela, I think she was a little off that year. I think one thing was I think she needed more time to stew a bit. I mean, I would say honestly, she has a great physique, but it looks like she's really has put on a good amount of mass. Just need to put up her conditioning. As you know, she was winning physique for a good while. She made the switch to open bodybuilding in 2020. Got into Olympia. She was three. She was all before then. She was already a two-time Olympian in women's physique, but then she became a three-time Olympian in women's bodybuilding, but now she missed the show a couple of years now. She had a situation where she got an accident. I felt like that year she should have took a break from competing and maybe rejuvenate, and maybe she would come in a little better.
Man, she's got an amazing back. Look at those shoulders.
Man, shoulder trap.
I think she's working with. Is she working with Andrew Vu or somebody? I believe I heard. You might know who's a coach now. I think it might be.
Not sure.
Yeah, I thought one time it's either Vu or not Brandon Ray, but whoever it is, they really are bringing up. She's putting the work. I mean, she looks really good. We got some comments here. I want to check out my comments. Got these guys here. They bite at the bit here. This is from my man here. That's from my man. He says, KL the Wanderer, you followed me on YouTube. Appreciate that. For appreciate it. Also, this is from man Jeff says, I'm not on Instagram. And also he says it's a KL. So yeah, we say okay. And then KL says he said his shout out to man KL. He says Salika chocolate Easter bunny with ruffles. And we got here a shout out to you, Josh, from my man Jeff. He says he shout out to my man Jeff says hey Josh,
hey, how's it going?
Yeah. And we got here last man standing. He says this. He says I'm hoping we can get 10 competitors a minimum at the Triple O.
I think we're there.
Yeah, they might be there.
I think they're there.
Yeah, because I think
there's an unofficial I think we met the 10, actually probably 11 now.
Yeah, because I think one guy I follow, Claudio, he posted some of the girls that he know, but I know at least 2 or 3 told me that they're going to do the show that I've interviewed in the past. They confirmed they're going to do the show. Next up we have here, he says this. He wants to give a shout to you. He says, Eunice, what do you should believe should be the minimum number of competitors in a WB show to be considered a success?
Well, I don't think it's about numbers. I think it's about quality. And I mean, we like to see at least 8 people up on stage. I would say a minimum of 8 is what I consider a good lineup. But again, the quality of those 8 can make the show, even if another show has 15, but if this show has the lineup that, of the competitors that we all follow and we want to see at the Olympia, I mean, that's what makes the show. And also the promoters make the show. So this is a really exciting show for us. We all look forward to the first show of the year, and it's for a reason, because it's exciting.
Yep, get your popcorn ready.
Yeah, because this is like, so the show's been around for 3 years, and with so few shows, so few opportunities. We look at numbers like you can't really compare numbers to like divisions like physique or figure or women's bodybuilding. I mean, figure or physique or bikini or wellness or even fit model. I mean, those are going to have the larger numbers. But again, ladies, quality, I would say this, quality over quantity, But if we can have a good amount of ladies who step up, who want to be at the shows, we appreciate it. I know there's a lot of expenses, the cost, the travel, prep. That's the one thing people got to remember, because bodybuilding is not, unless you're the few people who are sponsored. I was going to have an interview and talk with the ladies of 14 Pro, and they're sponsoring quite a few of the ladies this year. Quite a few of them are IFB Pro competitors, and many of them, quite a few, are also women bodybuilders. One lady I was talking to, she said she wasn't going to compete this year because she couldn't afford it. She could take a break, but then she got to be one of the their new Team 4 Pro sponsored athletes, and she jumped on it. Shout out to my man here. Dawes says top 8 in the world or us or US.
What?
US.
I think
US.
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 Okay, if I go top 8 in women's bodybuilding, first off, that's Andrea. That's going to be the number. Ashley, yeah.
Lavina Barros.
Lavia Barros.
Ayo.
Angela Yo.
Yeah.
Alcyon Burrito.
That's right.
Alcyon.
Who I won't just say the
Well,
Olympians, but I will say some ladies, 3 ladies I think could be top
Salika.
3. Salika could be in top 3.
Sherry could be in top up there if she makes a good comeback. I think Sherry would be for sure.
And who will put in number 8? I probably want to say it's between Chelsea or I will say.
Well, I think Tiana Flex, if she comes in a little bit bigger, if she gains some thickness on her legs, and
I agree.
We know she's got conditioning, so I do believe Tiana can be again back at the Olympia this year.
Yeah, Tiana's a possibility. I think we are not sure. She hadn't made an announcement. Shout out to her husband Tony. Tony Flex. He always send me little stuff. I appreciate Tony. He's a great guy. Cool. I call him. He's like the wisdom of Jason Statham. He talks like Statham a little bit. But going back to the ladies who have confirmed they're going to do the show. One lady I had a pleasure of having on a guest a few years ago. She last competed, I think, back in 2022. She took a break. She's she's a mother trainer. She works. I think right around Vegas. That is Michelle Dornan, or better known as Mighty She-Hulk. And she is another competitor. She's only been pro for about a good 5 or 6 years. Impressive from what I've been seeing her on social media.
She's been putting in the work.
She's coming in conditioned.
I see. She kind of reminds me when Sherry hit the game. I can see some strong similarities between the two of them. They do certain things about both being mothers. They work in professional businesses, and they have, I would say, honestly, impressive physiques.
Yeah, she's got some shoulders, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look at those quads.
Bringing the conditioning. If she comes in tight, I most definitely feel like she can probably place in the top 3, depending as who else is on the list. She has a good amount of size. It goes back to the conditioning. I think she also might be doing masters too, because she is over 40. Depending who's going to be in masters, she's possibly. I think she might get her Master Olympic qualification.
Man, look at her! Look at those arms, her delts, her back. She really improved.
Yeah, like I said, last time I competed was 2022. She had a couple of shows, and then she took a break. I know she would live in California for a good while. Then she moved to Vegas. She's working as a clinical therapist there. I mean, she has a great look, and again, I see kind of a strong similarity to Sherry Priami.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts, Eunice?
Yeah, she's the only thing I see is she looks really lean. She looks real. She's got size. We won't know until we put her up against someone like Lena Bedka. How she'll do. She does seem to be a little thick in the waist. So maybe wider lats would help that.
Yeah. Well, if she just dropped another
I think if she competes in masters, she's definitely got. I can see her. I'm not sure who's going to be competing in masters, but I can see her definitely top 3.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, and you just drop a name. The lovely lady from the Ukraine, the lovely Mrs. Lena Becca. As you know, Lena, she's been competing in this show at least since she's been a pro 3 years straight. This is going to be her 3rd year. 3rd year. I mean, she was busy 1 year. She did the Triple O. She did Vancouver. She did New York. Wow. She's with a new coach.
Look at that.
Her name is Rolf Zimmerman. That's her new coach. She's working with him. She did an interview right back with Rolf, him, and the guys from Female Bodybuilding Channel. Shout out to AJ and JB. and she's like I said, she's a big. I know she's a big girl. Lee's a big girl because I see a picture of you, her, and Teresa standing together.
Oh my God, she's very tall. Yeah, she's got to
She
be
looks, yeah.
5'10", maybe.
Whoa, that's my height, 5'10".
She looks tall. She's definitely tall. You know, we both were at Masters together on stage.
Yeah, she mean you feel like one of the what's the lollipop guild? The lollipop guild, the lollipop guild, you know. But she's massive. I think, like I said again, you're working with Rolf Zimmerman now. He really put on some more size to her. Her last couple of shows, she was in top 3. I thought one show she could have won.
I think she just announced that she was that she threw her hat in at 8 weeks out.
Oh,
wow! Wow! So 8 weeks, and it's wow.
Yeah, because
wow.
Nina was on the group chat, and everybody was trying to to talk about what shows they were going to do, and she says, "I'll get back and see if what my coach thinks." And so she came back on and said, "We've got 8 weeks, but he thinks I can do it."
Yeah, 8 weeks. That's really tight, and
that is. And look at her right now. I mean, she's already her core, her abs are amazing already.
Yeah. And once she gets dry,
wait till she gets dry. Woo!
Dry, she's gonna be wow. Here's her coach talking with the guys with female body challenge.
And you guys started working together. Can you talk to us a little bit? We know you're working with a lot of different athletes, specifically in figure, women's bodybuilding, women's physique, and we were very impressed with the improvements she's making.
This is the best athlete I can wish for, to be honest. So she's always on point with check-ins, and that's something a lot of people don't really think about, because even if it's not everything is going well this week, she give me feedback what is not working, stomach issues, especially with this high food. Yeah. It's so important to have the communication between athlete and coach. Now we are at a cheat meal every day.
What?
Yes.
Can you give us an example?
Raphael allowed me to have a cheat meal, like pretty big one, around 1,500 to 2,000 calories a day, but a small dessert. Yeah, every day.
How many calories are you with this cheat meal? Because we've seen the pictures, and you're definitely not fat in off season. You're keeping it pretty lean. And how much calories is she on, Raphael, per day with this cheat meal?
I don't really count calories. I always set up macros or like a set meal plan. But with this, without this cheat meal, she was on pretty 4,000 or so.
So she's eating 6,000 calories.
Yeah, and that was the point we really need to decide. Does it make sense to up the rice to 600 grams cooked measured per meal, or do we just implement some more calorie dense food, which is she said, easier to digest? Yeah. That was the day she was like, I don't feel well. And that was the first day she was a touch flat and dropped weight, I think.
We have athletes who was eating, as a woman, 6,000 calories. I'm a man. I'm eating 5,000. She's eating 6,000. Raphael, very impressive. Are you doing her blood work also, Raphael? Is this something you do as a coach, checking over things, that everything is okay?
Lena, that was
okay. Let me just tell you. So, what really impressed me working with Raphael, the first time when we just talked with him for 2 hours straight on a Skype, walking through all the details of my lifestyle, my stress markers, how is my sleep, how is my job looks like, what time do I go to bed, what time do I wake up, what time do I like to train. It was so detailed and just so deep into me that I was absolutely blown away. But when he said and now, before we start, I want you to do a blood work, but because without knowing what's going on inside of your body and how your body and hormones will respond to any adjustment, whatever we're gonna start introducing, I can push you as an athlete and I can press those buttons and just get the best out of you, because we need to know what's going on. So we're constantly doing blood work. We addressed some health markers, and he kept me clean, absolutely out of everything, just to bring them up. And I really appreciate when the coach is truly cares about the health. No, it's a red flag when your coach doesn't want you to check your health or doesn't just pay attention to what's going on in your body.
Coach Tulena.
Yes, that is good because he's doing pretty good work. I know he has quite a few ladies in stables. One lady who I do follow, he has is Nadine Phoenix. She's really impressive. I feel like Nadine could probably do women's bodybuilding if she wants, but she's still with physique. We have here comment from Last Man Standing says, "Do you guys think Angela Yo would compete at the Triple O?"
That's a good question.
I don't
I mean,
She could.
Weren't you the one who sent me a I don't know if it was a video or a post, or was it David? She posted something, and I thought, well, I think she stays lean, off season, that it's hard to tell if she's prepping for a show.
That part.
And even though she won the Rice Phoenix Championship back in 2024, but they changed the format of that. That you're no longer, even though you win the because you got women's bodybuilding back in Olympia, you don't get that pass. Like Hella just retired, and even though Hella has retired, she can come back to Olympia because she's a 2-time Rice Phoenix champion. Margie Martin, Alina Popa, even though those ladies have retired, moved away from the sport, they still have that open door policy for them. Even Andrea, if she ever is if something happens where I know it would never happen. If she don't crack the top 3, she still has an open door policy for her because she won it right around the time when they switched over to give an opportunity for women's bodybuilding. If she still has that open door policy because she was the last champ, in 2024, I'm hearing this is not. She lives in Ohio. She can go to Toronto if she wanted to, and that's not too far for her. She go to Toronto. She can come into if you want. She can come into the rise of into not rise. I mean, she can come into the Triple O. But then if she can win the title at the Rising, then that would give her the opportunity to go back to Olympia.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
I mean, she could. I say Toronto though. That'd be a better opportunity for her.
Well, she'll get the invite for the Rising Phoenix.
Yeah.
And all she's got to do is just come in, top 3.
Yeah. I don't know if it's still the top 3 door for them because they're going back to Invitational, because if Ashley comes there, you have Andrea, and if she gets the top 3, if they're still doing the top 3 like they did for last year, but if they are going back to when it used to be where you just win the Miss International and that's it, but if it does, it's just a lot. It's complicated. It's not like it's a configured mess. Shout out to my man. Naldo says, what is the condition to become a competitor on the Triple O compared to Olympia or Wings of Strength? Well, you just got to come in shape. That's simply it. If you come in shape and condition, for those shows, most definitely those shows like the Rising Phoenix or the Triple O, but the Olympia, you have to be in their best shape because you're coming in here, you go against people like Andrea, Angela, Lavinia, Ashley. Those are the top 5 competitors, and Angela too. And it's going to be tough to break into that top 5. Alcione bounced back. She moved to her coach Robert Fielder interviewed a while back. She bounced back. One year she was next to the bottom. Then she got in the top 5, but now she has to requalify again. Shout out to my man here. Says, how much is the budget of the Triple O? You got to ask the promoters.
Yeah,
that's we don't know. You got to ask the promoters. Also, he's asking some good questions. The price for winners, things like that. Well, again, you have to ask the promoters. They know. I mean, you might know some stuff, but the thing is, she's not a promoter. She's one of the sponsors, and she's also, as you know, Bad Rap is putting up the jackets for the winners in both women's bodybuilding and figure like they did last year. And I'm one of the sponsors. I like to say, yeah.
All right.
You're the only sponsor.
I'm the only sponsor.
Yeah.
You're the only sponsor for the jacket. No, I didn't
See that cheers, my man.
Yeah,
No.
it's nice. If I had a little more, I would love to sponsor the jacket for the figure competitor too, but maybe next year I might do that, Anyway, we're going back to who else has announced that they're going to do this show. And one lady who I've been in contact with, we interviewed, that is Leslie Worsing. I'm sorry, Leslie, I keep mispronouncing your name. But Leslie, she turned pro back in 2024 at the USA's. She competed at the Miss International, but she did not win in that show. That was the year that another competitor won. I forgot the girl's name. She hasn't competed since she won. And Leslie, she's from Arizona, and that's in her backyard. She was going to plan on doing the Steve Carr show, but circumstances happened. That show was going to be at least 11 or 12 ladies, but then some things happened to change. Leslie, her story of what she went through, her life, her experiences, and from what I've seen here, this is her most recent picture. She's also, I think she's doing masters, but she might do open. But her size, she's really evolved since she last got her pro card back in 2024.
You can tell she's putting in the work, my man.
Wow.
Just look at that. Mm-hmm.
Look at those arms.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's really,
especially her abs and arms.
Yeah, she's really put on some size. She's just with a friend here. They would do some charity work. As you know, a while back, Leslie got baptized. Shout out to that. And, another competitor got baptized. Shout out to Chelsea Dion. And she works in the union with the post office. She also does other stuff. She found time with her job and her career to get ready. That's nice. This is a nice little sports thing. It looks sweet.
Oh man, that looks yummy.
Yeah, I want to have a piece. But Leslie has really come a long way. I mean, she looks really good. I mean, she's put on some size. The thing is also, being that you're a much mature competitor, you really have to work in conditioning. That's where something I got to leave to you, Eunice, being a mature competitor and bringing shape and conditioning.
Sorry, I missed that, George. What'd you say?
I was saying being a mature competitor and have to bring in, size and conditioning compared to somebody who maybe a lot younger.
Oh yeah. I mean, the longer you've done it too, I think your body gets used to it as well. But yeah, it does take a lot more, intensity in your workouts. Sometimes more cardio to reach, that conditioning since you are older.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's really good, from some of the recent pictures. Like I said, she last competed in 2024. She was going to compete last year, but then I think it was a good time to take a step back. And now doing the show is in her backyard. There's quite a few other ladies. I think one lady also that I interviewed a while back, and I still follow her. We don't be in contact with like you two. Is one Miss Christine Dresco. Miss Dresco earned her pro card back in 2023, and that was at the
she actually won at the amateur Olympia, didn't she?
Yeah,
then she went at
actually Christina is an original. I mean, she'd been competing since the 1980s, and she and I we met each other at the North Americans in 2021 that I met her. And so I've been keeping in touch with her ever since. And yeah, we found out we're the same age. So she always brings in conditioning. You got to watch her.
Yeah. Shout out to Christine Dresco. She just started following me yesterday.
Yeah. I can't believe y'all the same age. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, bodybuilding, the health or benefits of it, like when I met Eunice, I didn't think Eunice was over 50. and she's 60 this. She turned 60 last year.
Yeah, I turned 60. I'll be 61 when I'm competing at the Masters.
You ain't 60, are you?
You wouldn't believe it, But Christine, she did make her debut in women's physique a while back, and now she's moving up to women's bodybuilding. And I think she's probably going to do the Masters. So
Yeah,
that's a good move for her.
Masters.
Yeah, that's a good move for her because possibly depending on who's going to be in the Masters, she could probably crack the top 3, top 5.
Yeah.
Impressive lady. This is her with my girlfriend because they both were at the. She was at the Arizona Pro, where she competed that show. She did both. I think she did both Open and Masters. She, kind of impressive. The thing is, with women's bodybuilding, even as a mature competitor, you still have to bring on size, and you have to compete with women who might be your age or slightly younger. And that's the thing is, like you said, it takes time, it takes work, take consistency. But she's a wife and mother. I mean, I wish her all the best. I mean, like I said, we watched the show. I'm going to root. This is back in 2021, which you see North Americans, and she has evolved over time.
She sure has.
Yeah, it's like any athlete. You take that time to grow and develop and to become a better person yourself. But she, I wish her all the best of luck. I mean, hope she does well. Now, one lady who I met her and interviewed her, and she hadn't competed, I think, since 2024, and that is Sheena Oleg.
Yeah.
Sheena. Sheena is from Jersey. She's a Jersey girl. I still got family.
She's from Jersey.
Jersey. I still got some cousins up there. Where my aunt, uncle,
she
my
is
father.
Stunning. She is stunning on stage.
Oh my goodness! Tell me about it.
She's stunning in person.
Yeah, she definitely brings a different look on stage. And how tall is Sheena? Is she like 5'10"?
I think she's like about 5'8". I know most days 5'8", 5'9", because I know when I'm not 5'7". I know she was just a little bit taller than I was. I am. So, and that's
she's very complete, and that's something you got to watch with Sheena, because she when she stands up there, I mean her physique just stands out.
And she party too.
Yeah, she's stunning.
Yeah, and I think she can do well. I mean, our last couple of shows she can do as well. Last time she was qualified for the Olympia was, I think it was 2021 or 2022. She was women's physique for a good while. I mean, switched women's bodybuilding. That did pretty good for her. She's a coach and trainer.
New York Pro, was that her last one she competed in? Was the New York Pro?
I think
Chicago.
I think it was Chicago Pro where she won it.
No, the last one that she competed.
No.
She didn't.
I think it was Rising Phoenix.
Was that the last time? 2023?
No, 2024.
That was 24.
She's Rising Phoenix 2024. And then she stopped. We didn't see, she just mostly, as you know,
then she just took a break.
Took a break training. She's a coach, she's a trainer. She's very hype up that she is doing. I would play the music, but you gotta be careful with YouTube and their copyrights bullshit. But she has a great personality about her. Again, a beautiful woman. She's complete. Maybe this may be a little more fuller if you look compared to some of the other ladies in women's bodybuilding. Yeah. But Sheena, she can possibly, I would say,
she
if she don't win the show, top 2, top 3.
Top 3. I think she's going to be top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we still, I think, with Salika being in there, is like I said, Salika might have the size, but she don't bring in conditioning that might hurt her. Especially if Lena comes in, like she's looking at, she's massive, she's coming in tighter, she's a possibility. And I'm looking also
Barbara.
Oh yeah, Barbara Mojin.
Barbara Mojin.
So she's going to bring conditioning. She's got size. So I think it's going to be, if it's about conditioning and size, it's going to be between Barbara and Lena.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be.
That's your top team.
If conditioning, now if Salika brings in the conditioning, then all them 3 will be like it'll be neck and neck.
Yeah, because I forgot for Barbara Mojin. Barbara's from Brazil. Last time she competed was, I believe, it was the Tampa Bay Pro. She looked really good. I think she was third or second at that show.
She came in. Let's see. Lavena was first, and then it was
Hunter, then her,
and then it was Barbara.
Yeah. So and she didn't do any other shows after that because I think she did both Masters and Open. She didn't win the Masters part because that was the one that Keisha Oliver won. She's massive.
She is. She's thick.
She's thick. I mean, she could most definitely come in there if she comes in with conditioning, and maybe I'll condition Lena. It's going to be a battle between both of them. Also, I think she's doing Masters too, so she doesn't want to miss the opportunity because she's been to the Masters Olympia. I think the first time she bit was back in 2023, and did she went last year?
When they brought back the first Masters Olympia, which was in Portugal, right? No,
the first one was Romania in 2023.
Romania. Yeah,
she was there.
She came in second.
Yeah, she came in second
to Roshana.
Roshana won that year.
Yep.
Yeah. So she has mass.
Yep.
Just got to bring in conditioning, and she's also a woman of. I think she's 50.
Yeah, she's 50.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't think it. I would think maybe closer to late 30s, early 40s.
She's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, some of these ladies, I'm telling you, these ladies when
I do
interviews, when they tell me that they're 50 and 40, and I'm looking at you, I thought you were 20 or 30.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if she brings in that size, she can probably do well. I mean, bringing the mass, she's coming into mass monster. I'm not certain, but she has not said if she is doing this show.
Who?
And that is I know she's done it the last couple of years. I don't know. She might.
Oh, you mean Teresa?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're going to be surprised tomorrow night to hear some additional names that have been laying low. But I don't know. I mean, it's just a matter of if they've been.
I mean, she posts everything, but she doesn't say what show she's doing. She's probably just doing it for the heck of it. Who knows?
What are you about to say, Eunice?
I mean, what I've seen lately doesn't look like she's coming in for this show, getting ready for the show. Not her recent posts.
Yeah. I know a while back when she was talking about issues about the cost of training, doing this, she felt like, she took a step back. I thought she was going to do another show. I thought she might do New York because she lives in Pennsylvania. New York's not too far from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's right there.
She's got a new coach too. So, he's probably getting used to, her metabolism and they're probably trying out, different things on conditioning and what works for her. And he's learning her body and that takes time. So maybe they're holding out, but she does claim she's coming back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know there's some situations where I think was issue with her husband. He got sick a while back. I think that was one thing. That's why she can compete the rest of last year. Yeah. Also, she talked about how the expense of getting ready for shows. She talked about it with Glenn on his live a while back. But impressive lady. Here, I would say last time, she's been a 3-time Olympian. She's one of the few ladies who's been consistently, ever since she's been a pro, competing in women's bodybuilding. If she turned pro back in, I think it was 2018, 2019.
And she's a great ambassador, not just in, bodybuilding, but outside.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, she does quite a few stuff with some colleges. She does some.
She's amazing.
Yeah, stuff like that. I think that's when we talk about it. Like some ladies should do that more.
Yeah.
Put stuff out there. Do some more public stuff because the fact is that brings your attention. Something we might show to you later, but we got a comment here. Shout out to our man, Last Man Standing says, Anastasia Levnova plans to compete at Imperial Classic and Mr. Big Evolution. Sure hope she has her visa since she probably win. Please don't, if you win one of those shows, stop. What it does, it cuts down the numbers. I understand I'm not a fan of her husband. He's a jackass. I just he rubbed me raw that time talking about calling Andrea a paper champion. At least you can come to the shows. She has won 2 shows, both of them been to Portugal, and she has not yet come to the show. And there's somebody who's just as bad as that is Caroline Alvarez, who's won 4 Olympic qualifications and still has not come to the shows. I mean, come on, don't compete in shows if you can't make. And I don't want to also talk about something like Anastasia Kovaleva. I understand, but I hope, ladies, if you are from another country, get your shit together. Right now, things here in the U.S., passports is hard for U.S. citizens. For you, other countries, it's a lot easier. If you have any kind of issues, something like anything as bad as a jaywalking ticket, take care of it, because the U.S. is hard to get into it. I mean, they'll play. Shout out to our man, Last Man Standing, says, Sheena would be good athlete representative. I really respect her in the interviews and her mindset. I do like pointing out that promoters also had a hand in struggling 2025 season. Well, somewhat, but also they really want the competitors to step up and come up, because it's a numbers game. Shout out to you to my man Naldo, says, in the next 5 to 10 years, where Triple O become famous like Olympia, like within number of competitors promos, I doubt it, because you can't compare shows like the Olympia and Triple O. The Olympia is the biggest show for bodybuilding next to the Arnold, and it's more inclusive show compared to shows like the Arnold Classic, where they don't have women's bodybuilding, doesn't have physique, and doesn't have figure, or even 212. I don't care too much about 212, but the Olympia is a show that is more inclusive to all competitors. And most competitors would love to go to Olympia. If the Triple O was, I would say, I would like the Triple O be maybe the level of something like Chicago or Tampa or even New York Pro.
I think it'll replace the Tampa Pro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they're doing a GoFundMe. Shout out to Anastasia Ryder, and also I want to put this out. As you know, me and David got the chance to interview Kelly Larkins, and Kelly she just wrapped up for the upcoming documentary, which is Behind the Physique, and she was going to do. The plan was to get 6 competitors, from women's bodybuilding. And she has finished her competitors. Just saw the last lady she just finally picked.
Oh, I thought there was going to be 8.
8? I thought it was 6.
I thought it was 6 too.
I can reach out to Kelly and see, but I think one time it's 6. But we already got some ladies she already picked out. I'm gonna pull these up. Some ladies are familiar. Some ladies have been guests on my channels, and others are because at one point I thought it was 6, but it might be 8. You just gotta reach out and we'll see what it is. But she has at least 6 ladies right now, and many of these ladies have good number of them are pros, and some of them are amateurs. First up, one lady who made the announcement first is Anastasia Ryder, or Valescu, who I spell name. I'm gonna say Ryder. And Anastasia, she's doing the GoFundMe for Tampa, but I would say that money go to another promoter. Shout out to Anastasia, what she's doing with that. Also, she got reported here. Rochelle Boswell, multiple-time Olympia, 2-time Masters Olympian. She is now qualified. Now she's one of the sponsored athletes. We have here an amateur, Brittany Diamond, and Brittany last year competed at the she competed at the amateur Olympia. I'm surprised she didn't win. The lady who won it in women's bodybuilding, I'm not a judge. I'm a fan. Also, we have is Lavanya Barros. Lavanya is
all right.
She's a sponsored athlete behind the physique. Congratulations to her. Also, Matana Sheeny, or I go by Matana Frey. She's also a sponsor athlete. Montana got her pro card last year at Nationals, about the same time as Kelly. Also, we have here Ashley DiCarlo. I interviewed Ashley a while back. Ashley's from Great Britain, and this is going to be her opportunity to possibly maybe get a pro card this year. A precious lady, good muscle. She's very alternative looking if you look at her, but she's really determined. She's really passionate about bodybuilding, and that's right now 6. That's the number, but it might be 8. I know that the application ended, I think, around about the 1st of March. I'm trying to remember, and she was gonna make the announcements around about was it about April? I think was it like I think it was gonna be the announcement was gonna be about this year. I mean this month, but there's some I think some pretty impressive ladies. She's offering. She has a GoFundMe, so you can go to the Behind the Physique IG. There is a GoFundMe link, and it was supposed to be $40,000, but she just needs the other half her size. She already got somebody put up the other $20,000, and also she's not just looking for money, but she's looking for people who want to maybe help the athletes with suits, the hair, the makeup, stuff like that for the documentary. Because this one thing is we need something like this, especially with women's bodybuilding. It is a struggle, especially as an amateur and also as a pro. Shout out to my man Johnny 7 Bravo 718 Bravo. He says, "Hey everybody, Bad Rap rocks."
Thank you.
Nice. All right.
Thank you. And by the way, we will be Bad Rap will be the official sponsor for the athletes gear on the women's that behind the scenes series. So they'll be
nice.
And yeah. We'll be covering
That's good. That's great because you know what? Shout out Eunice and JoJo, what they're doing. They are ladies of, as my other guy would say, they're ladies of their word. And Bad Rap, they are one of the sponsors. Shout out here to the Bad Rap, the sponsoring. And quite a few other sponsors. We have here also Crystal Bikinis, who are also sponsoring some of the suits. Crystal Bikinis, I know, I believe Marika Jones gets her suits from that company. And I think a couple more companies. I think anybody who wants to really check it out. And also, one thing I would love for Kelly to do is have the ladies do some interviews on this channel. Expand it. Get it to grow.
Yeah. Ooh, that'd be nice.
Because, she has like 432 followers. And, and she's following 268. You don't worry about the people you follow. You want more. Actually, you want more followers. You want people that you're following. And also 13 posts. You need more than 13. Come on. Shoot up to at least a good 50, 60. Some of the ladies who are ambassadors need to post some stuff on there, workout, training stuff. Also have maybe some one-on-one on live. So back to some of the ladies that are possibly. I'm gonna dip into figure for a bit.
Hey, don't forget, Liza Padaka.
Liza Padaka?
Yeah.
I think, she just turned pro some time ago, and, I've talked to her, hoping maybe do her on an interview. This girl could possibly come in here. I don't know. I think she could.
Legs, those quads, crazy.
I mean, look at the shoulders, look at the quads. Yeah. She's,
just an all-around great look, my man. Look.
I would like to see her pair up with Barbara.
Yeah, I think I think Barbara might outsize her a little bit, but she kind of reminds me. The legs reminds me of Melina, Smith. Melina Perron.
Yeah. Quadzilla.
Quadzilla.
Crazy quads. She decided to retire this year. She's also working with Vancouver with their show because they're not going to do women's bodybuilding or physique or wellness in the pros. They'll focus on the amateurs. Shout out to Corey. I still support his show, but I'm not too much about her because I don't follow too much of the amateurs as I should because it's too many amateurs to pay attention to. But
yeah,
she's impressive. There's been a lot of talk about her. She's only been pro for this is going to be her second year as a pro, I believe. I believe she turned pro at let's see, I believe it was somewhere in her IG here. Let me see. I think it was.
I became an instant fan as soon as I saw her. I was like, oh man, she got bright future.
It was either not North Americans, because I remember quite a few. I think it was the Teen Collegiate, the Masters Nationals. That's where she turned pro.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
she must
that
have been
means
35.
Has to be that, or at least 40.
She looks pretty young.
Yeah, she looks young. I mean, if she's anything over 40, then I'm going to be astonished. She has a great look to her. I mean, this was, I think, 2024 when she won this. So this is going to be her second full year as a pro. And, that's just about 2 years since she turned pro. I believe it's a coach. I think Female Body Channel compared her to Ava Manello a bit. I think Ava's a little taller.
Yeah, Ava's a little bit bigger.
But I can see some of those aesthetics, especially the shoulders, the width. Just that if she can put on the size, she can possibly maybe swing in and be like a dark horse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. One lady also I had to push on my channel is Andrea, Wellington, and this lady's a scientist.
That's right. Science and muscle.
Oh,
science and muscle.
Yeah.
Science and muscle.
She's an amazing lady. She told me, was it about a couple months ago, she was doing this show, and I know you and Eunice, you and her competed both at Tampa back in 2023.
Yep. Yeah, she's thick.
Yeah, she's thick. Great abdominal development. This is from Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Good mass. I think she's probably going to do just the open, but I would say, hey, you don't have to pay to do open. You can just jump in. Just make sure you get your contract. Yeah, she's a motorcycle enthusiast. She's very earthy, very nice lady. I enjoyed our interview we had. Her husband, he's a pretty cool dude. She's a mother with 2 kids. Her brother, Rusty, he himself is an IFB pro. I think he does men's classic.
Yeah, I competed with Rusty back in 1994 at the Ironman Iron Maiden. That's where I met Rusty.
Yeah, here she is with a brother. Cool. Yeah, I mean,
cool. He still looks phenomenal.
Oh wow!
This guy, I think Rusty's in his 60s, I believe.
Yeah, he's about my age.
And they look so much alike. This is
they do.
Your family. This is I my older brother James, people used to call me Little James because we look so much alike. And I got a nephew, he looks kind of like me. But I can't wait to see, because this is going to be her second, this is her second year as a competing pro. She competed in 2023, took a break. She was dealing with some medical issues and job and life and stuff like that. But I can't wait. I feel like there's so many more. As Eunice said, we still have to wait to see who is confirmed. Now, these are some ladies we know are doing this show, but there's still some ladies who are kind of either holding back or being reserved. Shout out to my man, Last Man Standing, says, I hear the reason many women bodybuilders don't post frequently on social media because of the hate, negative comments from non-bodybuilding profiles, and also weird comments from SMOs too extreme. Yes, that's one thing.
Yep.
Because
agree.
Eunice being a woman, a bodybuilder, do you have to deal with us schmoes?
We do. We just kind of ignore it. We're so used to that.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, I think with anything, it's something different. But here, I'm going to say like this. To you guys out there,
talk
who
to
someone like myself as being gay. Here's the thing I'm going to tell you like this. If I was gay, I'd be looking at guys like Andrew Jack or Nick Walker or Samson Dua, but that's not my type. They don't do nothing for me. I like something like Eunice. I like Andrea. I like women.
Talk to him.
There's nothing. I have respect for these guys, but there's nothing that tickles my pickle about them. So, what's your problem with me? What I like? I don't tell you what you like. I know you see these guys like these little 10 little girls that look like olive oil. Look like that's not. I don't know why Popeye was Pluto was fighting on olive oil. She was 12 o'clock up and down. I mean, 6 o'clock up and down. 6 o'clock. I forgot with clocks. Guys, if you don't like something, mind your business. Also, guys, if you do like your face, pull back a little bit. Be respectful. Be understanding. These are still women. You can make a woman feel uncomfortable. I learned that a long time ago. Years working with women, from working in textiles with women, working in strip club with women, working with 3 sisters and a mother, having nieces and nephews. Actually, nieces. So I say, I learned that sometimes you have to really be very. Women are kind of cautious. If he like you, like I have ladies who I'm confronting with me, they send me some of their check-in pics and stuff like that, ask my feedback. I tell her, and she does that sometimes too. Say, how dare you send this to a muscle person like myself? But they respect my feedback, my opinion, because I don't go too far. But I be respectful. Also, I'll be complimentary too. That's what something you got to learn about. Shout out to my man here. Nadal says, I really don't know why they are afraid of posting their beauty. Well, we think they're beautiful, but everybody else in the world may not. Also shout out to my man Johnny says, creeps and trolls ruin everything.
That's right.
We got here my man C Cross. He says C Cross 1. He says, ready for the triple O? Well, like I said, brother, my check don't come to next week. No, actually, it'll come to the middle of this week. So yeah, I gotta hang on to $1. Now, those are ladies that we know that we confirmed that are gonna do a show. Some other names might pop up. Some ladies might. This is the thing. I remember I was talking with Michelle Britt. She told me like this: ladies, get these first of the year shows out. Don't wait till all the way till the summer. That's why one thing is we need you to jump on these shows first of the year and push them out of the way, so you can have that time to relax, to enjoy yourself, and then if it's time for the Olympia, when you get to that time, you jump on your prep. You don't have to stress yourself. That's a smart thing to do. I know some competitors that say, yeah. I like when they just did the Arnold Classic, and there was only not enough women to get their pro card at that show. Some ladies did the Nationals. A couple ladies who did the Nationals did that show. Ladies, I know you want to enjoy the holiday. I would say, hey, Christmas can come next year. Do that show. Get it out of the way. You can sit the rest of the year, and if you want to do your pro debut, you can do it at the end of the year. Or you can do it the early start of the year. Make Triple O Dynasty. If you're a women's bodybuilder, you can make Triple O Dynasty your pro debut. You do the show, you do the All Classic in March. You get it out of the way. You chill. You start your prep maybe around, like I say, October. So you give you more time so you can enjoy the little things of the holidays. And then you jump on a show like the Triple O and get it out of the way. Just get out the first of the year. You don't get your qualification. You got the rest of the year to settle and relax to the next show. Shout out to my man C says there are plenty of drop dead gorgeous women in women's bodybuilding that beautiful rivals wellness girls. I will say some, yeah. Some of the girls wellness, I think some of us do women's physique or women's bodybuilding. I'm seeing girls like I just saw AJ. He was talking to one girl, and she just flashed, and I sent that link to Eunice, and she just flashed. She showed her quads, and she looked more like physique than she did wellness.
Yeah, she did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Honestly, I thought she was figure because I saw her in heels, but then I thought she could do WPD. I didn't even know she was wellness.
Yeah, these wellness girls again, man. And one thing we focus on wellness so much because it's still cookie cutter. The lady just won it with Jelly, what's her name is. The girl she was up against, Cassandra Gillis, they look so much alike. They're blonde, same size. It's so cookie cutter to me. Like bikini and wellness and even fit model, it's cookie cutter. But with the other divisions, some ladies do stand out. They do look different. They size, this and that. There's always something different in those divisions. And there's people like Andrea, people like Sid, people like Sherry. They stand out of each other. But the others look so, like clonage, so like twins. So even though if you have certain ladies, depending on how you do their hair, that's the one thing that might separate them. But some women can stand out a little more. Shout out to my man No Dose, who says, we're in bodybuilding and in fitness world are the most beautiful women. He says, like, in the world. Okay, I got it.
In the world.
He's from Croatia. His English not so good. So
okay.
One thing I want to mention is I don't focus on figure shows much because my big focus was on women's bodybuilding. But I will shout out, I think, a couple ladies who I believe is doing this in women's figure, and that is I saw she says this is her peak week, and I believe this is going to be her pro debut. She turned pro last year, and I believe it was a Junior Nats or Junior USA's, and that is Jordan Sue. And Jordan, I actually found out about Jordan when later I interviewed Melissa Sanfeld, competed at a show when she made her bodybuilding debut. Jordan is very alternative. I would say attractive young lady, very much. At one point, she was doing wellness, but then she switched over to figure. I think she can do. To me, she's more than anything. I think she's closer to WPD as she is to figure.
She just needs to add more size.
Yeah.
Wonder how tall she is.
I don't think she's that tall. She may be.
Yeah, she doesn't look it.
She might be a good 5, maybe 5'2", maybe 5'3". She's but I see a little more of WPD than do figure.
Yeah,
and there's quite a few figure girls now that could be doing WPD. And she's very funky and alternative. She has a lot of tattoos. Also, she has a split tongue.
Yeah, she got that split tongue.
I mean, I don't know how anybody would do something like that. My tongue is just one organ, not two. Besides the tattoos, I think she's an attractive young lady. Depending who's going to be at the show, how she's going to do.
Kayla Forcier, isn't she?
Yeah, I think David just interviewed her and one of her clients, Kayla Forcier. She's been competing for a good bit. I think also this is gonna be her pro debut. She looks like she's kind of on the petite side.
Yeah,